Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. One of these days, I'll figure out how to actually do this.
Good pop right
The
there.
software. Yeah.
What's going on,
Wait, what
fellas?
did you not figure out? I don't understand.
There's a transition thing, and I think I may have overlapped the. I'll have to go back and look at it and see if it worked or not. But it sounded like the music was playing on top of itself twice. So I'm not sure. At least on my side, it sounded like that. We'll find out. So welcome back, guys. I did not get to watch any Georgia State basketball over the past week, and it sounds like that was probably a good thing.
Yeah, I missed the game on Saturday, and then I didn't bother looking back at it. I did a quick look see at the box score about 10 minutes ago, but that's about it.
Oh, you didn't look until just now?
Nah, I mean our group chat. I knew what the story was. I just didn't know necessarily what the stats were.
Yeah.
I did not know until I landed back in Atlanta sometime on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me they don't put Georgia State on the big screens in Galapagos? What is a big screen in Galapagos Islands? Is it like 13 inches, black and white?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the ship had a good TV. We were able to stream the national championship and some NFL games. That was fun. Something else to do other than nothing, watching the stars or drinking excessively at night. But
Well, that answers one of my questions for how you got there. I didn't know if they were like seaplanes or what. I figured there wasn't an airport.
There's two airports. One of them can take like smaller planes, which is the one we were on. So landed in St. Cristobal in the Galapagos, and then from there got immediately onto the catamaran ship, and off we went.
Oh, cool! That's neat.
Yeah, it was.
Well, we had Minnie a birthday drink in your honor
Thank
you
you.
were on last week. It was a good time. It was a good time.
I missed like 4 games, and I think we didn't win any of them.
Well, how many of them were away games? Because that counts for something, right?
We don't win away games, Ryan.
I'm fairly certain Hayes has accounted for a single away game win in his entire tenure at Georgia State.
I can tell you that is true.
It's not a lot.
And it was last year. It was last year. First year, no wins. Last year, 1 win. This year, no wins yet. I guess there's still some time.
We have a neutral site win against Tulsa.
Does that count?
Look, let's count it. He's got 2. It doesn't sound better.
No, I think because somebody had said something about us not having an away win. One Mike I looked at it. There's one of his seasons where there was 3 away wins. I have to go back
at Georgia State.
Well, yeah, in these past 3 years, not this year. I think it was last year where we did have some away wins. But we don't have a lot of games left, and sadly, because the Sun Belt doesn't know how to operate a calendar, it's more than double of our remaining games are away. We have 3 home games and 7 away games on the calendar.
Not looking good.
Well, there's one game left in January, and I think I'm at the point where it's time to wish Hayes good luck and send him along somewhere else.
Yes.
We're there. We have to be there. 4 in a row losses is not a good direction.
So Brady commented in Panther Talk that there's no reason to let him go right now, that it doesn't do any good because you can't start talking to coaches until the seasons actually come to an end, and all it does is put more responsibility or more stress on the remaining assistants, which is like what happened with Bob Marlin's assistants in Lafayette. And I'm like, F that. I don't care.
Losing is going to put pressure on them too. Also, why can't you talk to coaches? I don't understand.
Well, I think that's BS. Anyways, you have those. There's those middleman agencies, those coaching companies that go out there, and so the school's not talking to the coach. The coach is not talking to their school. It's all somebody in the middle, the mediary. And so I think I call BS on that. I think we could start getting feelers out, finding out who's interested, and start figuring out what kind of whatever. And if nothing else, from a fan perspective, it lets us know that no, this is not going to be tolerated.
Right.
At an earlier point. At an earlier point, it lets us know that, and getting aggressive about it. I would feel a lot better about Cobb's decision to get rid of him now than waiting till the end of the season and just putting everybody through this misery for the next 10 games.
Right.
And then tell me who is from Georgia State is going to go to the the tournament in Pensacola, the conference tournament in Pensacola right now, other than one of the players' families from a Georgia State side.
You'll get the regular handful of people that probably go down there, but not many more
doubt
than
it.
that. I mean, I wouldn't go down there. Like,
And I don't think firing him now gets those people to go down there. But I mean, like, people are, they're done with it. And then on top of that, it shows the players that this performance is not going to be tolerated, and it gets them a little excited because look at the guys on the court right now. They look defeated. They look, like they're going through the motions. They're having them be told to put their hands up in the air, like they don't care. But you get one of those assistants in there, doing something different, gets them energized. They like, all right, we got a fresh start. This is not the same team that it was the previous part of the season. And hell, maybe one of these assistants are really good at their job. Maybe Jarvis was the brother we should have hired.
That's the one we needed.
Yeah, or one of the others, whoever you make to be the interim, which I think in this situation would be really weird if you made it to be Jarvis. I mean, nothing against him specifically, but it's just a weird situation when you have a brother and then on top of that, the identical twin brother. It's really weird.
Be like, did you even fire him?
Right. But I think that it gives the players, something to actually want to play for now instead of just this is just Georgia State basketball, because it looks like this is what we've accepted as Georgia State basketball right now. And as a fan, as a player, I don't think that's the way we should look at it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're losing anything by letting them go now. In the day and age with the transfer portal and everything, and players not like staying anyway, what's the difference between now and then? Literally, what's the difference?
We're not going to go on a run, and even if we did, it's not gonna boost us into the any further into the Sun Belt tournament. Like it's the season's like donezo. Time to start looking forward and start building towards what we're gonna be, where we're gonna be at, not where we are right now.
And who knows, if you let him go now, you get some interim person off the bench, and maybe Gene Hill just has the women's coach. Hey, he just watch over this other team over here that's flailing around.
Beer for everybody.
You never know. It could be a little bit of spark. A little bit of spark. We could become a team that spoils some other team's destiny to try to win the Sun Belt championship. I don't know.
Why not? I care about.
You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose. Nothing.
As fans of Atlanta teams, we see it all the time. A quarterback gets benched for the backup, or a coach gets fired, and they play us that very next game. Atlanta, I don't care which team it is. Atlanta always loses that game. We always lose against the backup or the interim or whoever it is. I guess we didn't do it against Lafayette this time. There's tiny miracles, but there are plenty of cases where a change at the top provides that spark, that a little something different. Just a little something different can go a long way. Plus, the opposing teams don't know exactly what to expect. How similar is it going to be? How different is it going to be? So
realistically, I think it can't get much worse, right?
You know
exactly.
What? It wasn't fair to me. Upcoming on the schedule is a MAC challenge, and we have won like every single one of those. So
pressure. Got to keep them for that, right?
I mean, knock on wood, I guess. I don't know, but we've been successful in those ones. So that's an away game that can be won by Hayes. And for the record, I did fact check myself. It was 5 wins away last season. So
there you go.
Yeah. So sorry about that. Still not great.
You can't spell Buffalo without L.
And I think the most painful thing about Hayes to everyone is just we all thought this was a home run hire. All of us. We all did. Yep. And it on paper looked like a home run hire. News outlets said it was a home run hire. It just didn't pan out for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. Like I don't like saying this. I want Hayes. I want us to go on a run. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Tear through the Sun Belt.
I would love for that switch to go off and figure out what's missing, and get Coach Hayes to be here for the next 7 years, taking us to tournament after tournament after tournament. I would love that to happen, but we've seen nothing to show that's going to happen. And I hate to say it, but we got to move on. That's just the way it is. And because of what it's like to be a Georgia State fan or a fan of Atlanta teams, what's going to happen is he's going to go somewhere else for a year or two. He'll get that second head coaching job opportunity, and he's going to be the next Shaka Smart. He's going to be the best college basketball coach we've ever seen.
We just have to let our cocooned moth or caterpillar go be a butterfly somewhere else.
Man, exactly. If we could get a Jim Larinaga or Shaka Smart, it'd be so great.
A guy like
We'd
that's
be
kind of
back and rolling.
that's kind of the different thing with basketball than football. Like you always stand the chance of losing your coach, and obviously there's big programs out there, but basketball is one of those kind of programs that can turn on a dime and can start generating revenue a lot faster. And there's a chance where we could keep a coach for a long time because we say like McGee, we don't want McGee to be here for 5 years because if he's here for 5 years, then we've just been mediocre. But if he's here for a couple of years and gets hired away, that's awesome for us because we were doing well. If he sucks and he's gone, But with Hayes or with a basketball coach, sure, let him come in here, turn the thing around, and by the time other teams start, sniffing around him, we've got some revenue coming in. We can up that payment, a paycheck.
Unless McGee, professes his unwavering love for Georgia State, wants to stay here forever and make us champions of the Sun Belt and do other crazy shit like get us in the playoff. I don't know.
I would love that, but there's no way that he's going to go from 800,000 to getting $8 million here, or turn down $8 million somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's just. I mean,
these days, coaches like that are not easy to find. They're just not. It's all about the dollars.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a harder job now for them, right? I mean, like the portal, all the shit, all the kids acting all crazy. Like it's not an easy job as it used to be. I mean, you have some coaches leaving because they're like, "F this shit."
Saban, the best coach in all of college sports, basically left, and you hear him talk about it now, and it wasn't fun anymore. He is. As much as everybody wants to hate him, he talks about the part that he loved the most was the developing the players into people, into men, into like grown ass men and everything, and seeing that. But now you're paying them a paycheck, and hopefully they stick around for their year. So I don't know.
And he had it the easiest of most.
I
programs,
know.
because he was at the top. He was at the top of the pyramid. He's where people were going.
You ever think that coaches like that or players like that kind of secretly want to see their team not be as good after they left? Like, do you think that Saban was kind of like quietly happy that Alabama did not make the playoffs?
Nah,
I don't think so. He loves Alabama.
I don't even think he watched the game.
That comes through every single game day show. You can hear he talks about
hundreds. He talks about it, but we talk about a lot of stuff. Everybody talks about everything. But you think when he goes home at night, he's talking to his wife, and he's kind of like, what I would have done differently this season is this, and this. That would have caught him kept him in that game, and we'd be a 1 seed in the tournament. And this is all just like, hey,
just like the rest of us.
We
exactly. I'd be watching Georgia State, being like, if we just did this one thing,
it's just
consistently every game. We did get a comment. I don't know if you can bring it up. I don't think I have admin rights. Robbie Davis 01. Jonas got his job because his head coach was fired before the season was over. I don't see an issue with letting him go mid-season. We are with you, Robbie Davis.
Yeah.
Robbie, I agree. Well, that's the weird thing about it is, he got let go. Sorry, his boss got let go after winning the first game in the NIT.
Yeah,
and then Coach Hayes goes on to win the entire NIT, which why it seemed like such a grand slam hire out of the whole thing. But yeah, not so much. How's Xavier done since then? Have they been good with their whoever they got?
I don't know. They're always consistent.
I mean, yeah, they were historically pretty good too, right? That's why NIT get you fired, I think, because they typically go, I think.
Yeah.
At least when I set my lineups, I'm usually picking Xavier for one or two of them.
Not for that first round. You look at the what the seating is, and then like just historically, how good is that name? How often do I hear that name? Who was that head coach at Tech that came from Memphis that was just an a-hole? What was his name?
I don't know.
He got fired
for basketball.
Not
Passner.
How
did I know that? You guys didn't. That's crazy.
They kept him forever.
But he's been fired, right? He's gone.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's working on it. Someone told me that he's still living in Atlanta and wants to coach more. Like, can we bring in Passner? Would you want to have Passner here?
I mean, he could probably win here versus the ACC, but God, 2016 to 2023, and his record was probably not very good.
Well, I think it wasn't good, but at Memphis, it was really good.
Yeah, he was great at Memphis.
109 and 114 was his record. Let's
At,
hope we don't head down that path.
What was his record at Memphis?
At Memphis, it's
Because I think it's a lot better. I think they hired
he was great at Memphis.
a good coach.
Yeah, 2009 to 2016.
Is the ACC from top to bottom that much better of a basketball conference than what the American was? That he could just dominate with Memphis and couldn't scratch 500 with Tech.
I mean, that's possible. He was 167 and 73, so about 70% at Memphis. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, I got to feel like recruiting to Tech's got to be way easier than recruiting to Memphis.
I would hope so.
Memphis is no slouch, though. You know, they got the money
program.
Yeah,
they do. But I mean, if you've gone to Memphis, Atlanta's way better.
I know.
The barbecue is better in Memphis, no doubt about that. There's just no question there.
Depends on the barbecue, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like you're just Joe
Dry
average
ribs.
place.
Dry ribs, 100%. Can't take it from them. They, I'll begrudgingly give it to them.
Yeah, but
I would take him. I mean, he did well in mid-major, so we're in mid-major.
Why not? We can get into that.
My big problem.
Yeah, but then we can get into the American Conference with him, right?
Do we want to go there still? I don't know anymore.
Well, you got to remember the American got a lot worse when they split.
I don't want to get all into a conference change conversation because we have plenty of offseason to talk about that. But yeah, right now, as is, I think even if Memphis and Tulane leave, like they're talking about going to the Pac, I still say American is a better spot for Georgia State. Now, that being said, wherever the money is the best, whoever has the best money, but I think just as a fit for a Georgia State University, I think American still has, even with the 6 Conference USA teams they brought in there, I think it was the right 6 teams to be peers for Georgia State. It's the teams that I kind of, even like the teams that are kind of newer to football and stuff, I think it sounds better. I want to be in a conference with UAB. If I'm going to be in if I'm going to be in a conference with a drivable, like a day trip school, it's UAB all day long.
You got UAB, Charlotte, which is like they're aching to us a little bit. You got South Florida, you got Florida Atlantic, Tulane. I mean, those are some good programs to be.
I don't like my team having to go visit New Orleans that often. That sounds pretty horrible for them. But yeah, Tulane's a better, just a better name program
than the other two.
They may be going with Memphis to the Pac, but even like who you got? What Texas schools? They got UTSA,
Texas, Tulsa, which,
Oklahoma's the middle of nowhere. I mean, we can argue whether it's a real state or not, but
I don't see East Carolina going anywhere. This whole fantasy land, they're going to come to the Sun Belt thing. I mean, that's only if the AAC implodes somehow.
I think East Carolina is in the same position we are, but just in a different direction. If the money was the same in the Sun Belt, I think that ECU would probably prefer to be in the Sun Belt.
But it's not. At least right now.
But right now they're getting $7 million a year, and it costs them $10 million a year to go to a conference that will pay them maybe $2.5 million a year. That just doesn't make any sense.
And if we joined, we get to play Army and Navy in football.
Which we do have a winning record against Army.
Oh wait, never mind. We don't want to join.
We haven't played Navy, right? We played Air Force. We did a home and away with Air Force. We did a 2-1 with Army. Is Army the only out of conference or we've done a 2-1, but 2 at our house? I don't think so. I can't think of another.
I can't think either. Yeah, I think it's possible.
That
so Navy's next, man.
My grandfather was in the Navy. I don't think he ever. I think other than the Army Navy game, I don't think he ever watched any Army football or Navy football. So
has our name been? So I mean, obviously talking about the potential of UAB and Memphis moving up. Has our name been thrown around at all on the boards about?
I still see us. Jimmy Madison gets a lot of talk now. Sure. I think because of their academics and because of their success they've had across all sports. But in tandem, it's talk of Georgia State and Jimmy Madison are the two. I mean, of course, Appy's name gets tossed in there a lot because they it's such a good program for everything in football. I've even seen Lafayette tossed in there, but I think that from a president's perspective, who makes the conference the decisions on which teams get invited, I think that Georgia State and then honestly probably James Madison.
We saw a lot of prayer. Like they are so on the cusp of being amazing. Like that's our sell right there.
Yeah, if we only played better opponents, we'd play better.
It's true. We only play the best teams well. Everyone else we suck.
Yeah.
Man, now I want to be in the American. Good job.
I still think that American is the place to be. So
take a flight down to Florida, go to the beach, go to the FAU game.
That was one of the things when we joined the Sun Belt. Who had who was it? The F blank U schools both at the same time.
FAU. Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's awesome. We're playing, a South Florida school every single year, like a South Florida trip every year. Sign me up, and then they both bolt to Conference USA, and I was like, well, we lost that. We haven't had a Florida presence since then. So I would not mind having a Florida team, especially if we could find a way to score a late season game down there. It's a little nice beach action
warm up in the winter
when it's cold up here.
I heard it was cold up here where I was gone.
It was freezing. You left at the right time, man. You left at the right time. Hey, I do want to pat myself on the back about something I said last week going into these last two basketball games against Marshall and Jimmy Madison. Okay. I said how we play on Thursday against Marshall will have a direct. Maybe we'll do the exact same thing on Saturday. It's like, so if we lose on Thursday, we're going to lose on Saturday. Okay. We win on Thursday. I like our chances against Saturday. I was right. We scored 79 points in a loss against Marshall, and we scored 79 points in a loss against Jimmy Madison. I was right. We performed exactly the same.
We have a cap at 79 is what you're saying.
I did try to actually look at that. 79, 80 points seems to be that point where if we can score over 80 points, we win. We've only won 2 games where we scored less than 80 points. Every other one of our wins has been over 80 points. And we've never scored over 80 points and lost. So that
so if we would have scored 80 points, even if we scored less than them, we would have won.
That's the way it works. That's the way the trend.
Sounds like, yeah.
That's the way that works, Ryan. You're right.
Scored one more point. What the hell, guys?
Well, we did score 80 points in a loss to Texas State, but
2 more points.
Exactly.
we let Jimmy Madison get up by 22. Jesus.
Yeah,
we came all the way back, but didn't have enough time. Looks like
apparently there was a big run. I say a big run, but there was a run at the end of the first half against Jimmy Madison that got us within 6 or 7 going into the half or something, and then can never play catch up. But oh yeah, there was a controversy on tip-off time for the Jimmy Madison game.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't here. Literally, dude, I was not here. I didn't know.
All right, so you go to your ticket. It says 4:00. You go to ESPN, it says 4:00 tip. Everywhere you go, you see Dave's tweet about the game, 4 p.m. tip. Well, of course, everybody knew that the men's team would tip off 40 minutes after the women's team came to an end. So they tipped off at 3:45.
So people missed like 10 minutes.
Yeah. One of our buddies was taking his wife to the game. She doesn't want to do a lot of pre-gaming, but he wanted to get there a little early to get into the hospitality, kiss some babies and do some stuff like that.
Enjoy the perk that you paid for.
Exactly. He gets there.
2 beverages.
He gets there about 3:50, and sorry, you can't go into hospitality because the game is already tipped off. So
also, you've missed five minutes of the game.
Yeah, you also missed 5 minutes of the game. Oh, okay. Can you? I swear to God, I bet his wife was like, "Thank God."
How can I have this happen every game?
She probably called him like, "Just we're in the car. Start the game now."
I would have held the men's game to the tip-off time.
What is it about that 15 minutes? This is not something that is common. Maybe back, what it was like 6 years ago when they did that whole men-women doubleheader thing. Maybe that's when they did it 45 minutes after, just to keep so the two teams could get back on the road
I do
faster or whatever.
remember. Yeah.
What is so important about this? We've not done this all season. Why was that 15 minutes starting early that important? I
We
don't get it.
saved a quarter of an hour in expenses. That's it.
You're renting the stadium from ourselves or from the university. Yeah, the
Yes.
light. That's how bad we are on finances right now. Those lights, we can't keep them on an extra 15 minutes.
I have no clue. How the hell would you know when to come to the arena, other than if you go to the women's game?
That's their way
You
to
wouldn't.
get you to go is like, oh well, just if you want to make sure you make men's tip off, just come to the women's game, and then after that 2 hours, just wait an extra 40 minutes.
Just come 40 minutes after the game ends. Like, know that. Just know that.
Just know what it is. Yeah, it's like
Are they even on ESPN3? Like,
or
I don't
plus,
even
yeah,
think I would have
the
thought
women?
about that.
yeah.
Yeah, they're on the
Yeah.
Well, so sit at home,
on the plus.
watch the game at least, know when it ends, and then, plan accordingly.
But so their response was also like just typical Georgia State response. They
Mm.
just
It's
they,
our
they,
fault.
like Dave, like I said, Dave tweeted out, here at the Convocation Center where Georgia State's going to be hosting blah 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 whatever, and tip off at 4 p.m. And then like GSU Panthers or whatever the Twitter account was like replied to his tweet like 4 p.m. or 40 minutes after the women's game or whatever. I'm like you're do not correct the voice. Not publicly. There's no public correction of the voice. What he says is, if Dave says the game tips off at 4:00, you adjust your schedule so the game tips off at 4:00. What Dave says is gospel. He is GSU Jesus.
But
what are you supposed to say? Like the game, no time, just the game starts 40 minutes after the women's game. Go look that time up and watch this game so you can figure out when to leave your house and maybe make it in time. There might be traffic. It's Atlanta on a Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, we know that majority of our alums all live like 40 minutes away. So it's like everyone's just sitting in their car on their phone watching the women's game and like, all right, everyone go now.
That's crazy.
The kids don't have their shoes on. They don't need shoes.
I know what you were doing with the voice there, but like, when your ticket says 4, like it's 4,
Yeah.
dude. That's what I mean, like I would normally even just check that to know like the exact time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should put an infinity symbol on the ticket.
Well, like, yeah, just
whenever we like, just show up at some point that day, and hopefully it's before the game.
You do like the female sign, like the circle with the plus, and just like, and then do like 45.
What's worse is if somebody from athletics is listening to this, they're like rolling their eyes. They're like, "Oh, everything makes them so unhappy." And it's like, well, if everything weren't done poorly, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to think if I were actually here, would I have thought to go look at a tweet to figure out when to come to the game, or if I just look at the schedule and go, "Oh, it's 4."
Well, you'd already be late.
Well, think about so when we go to the games, we always try to get there a little early to
Sure.
crack a cold and frosty in the parking lot, or 2 or 3, as many as we can. And about 15 minutes before tip off is like when we plan to start making our way in there. That way we can get into hospitality if we are so lucky to have that access, grab our 2 drinks and head up to the game to watch. Just make it right in there, maximize everything, keep that buzz flowing. Perfect.
Right.
And we would have been standing outside there walking in as the game started.
I just went to the Marshall recap because they've got like a next game section in every little recap on the website. Next game, James Madison, 1:25 at 4 p.m.
See, everywhere they had posted said 4:00, but yet they act like their response to people complaining about it was always going to be 40, 45 minutes, whatever that number was.
Cool. You didn't tell anyone else. You just forgot to mention that to anyone outside of your organization.
Also, great attendance, 1792. Wow.
This screams of like when your wife tells you something, you're like you're told that like, oh yeah, we're going to be there at 8:30. I told you we were going to be there at 8. Like, you didn't tell me that. Like, I specifically remember having this conversation. Like, well, no, I told you that it changed. No, you did not tell me that. That's not what I heard at all.
So this go ahead, Tim.
No, I just wonder, like, what did our own website say for the men's basketball scheduled game time?
No, it says 4.
It does.
That's what I was reading. I was reading from our website.
Oh, our website.
Yeah. The recap. They don't have the past games listed the times
For the
anymore.
time.
But in the Marshall one, they have a next game for JMU, and it says 4 p.m.
Well,
I'm
I
willing to
can
bet it
tell you.
said 4 p.m. By the way.
Oh yeah. I mean, I bet money. You can do like a Wayback Machine or something, or the web archive, and figure it out.
Oh,
Probably. I
I
guess they'd have
just
to have.
would have shown up on time.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking. So I put all the games. I put all the games on my calendar when the schedule comes out because I'm
Okay.
obsessed with this kind of stuff, and I change it as times get added to it. And yeah, my calendar says 4 o'clock.
So it's not necessarily all the mess ups either. There's like even further is like when you have conversations with people in athletics about this kind of stuff is always excuses. It's shifting blame. It's always somebody else's fault, right? Like this one was our fault because we should have known that it was 40 minutes later, even though nobody said that anywhere.
So is
And
the game
the president's office is responsible for that suite never being used, and there's just like all kinds of things,
Yeah,
right?
the big video board. We can't get our games announced on the video board because GSU Foundation owns that and not athletics, so they control what's on it and
Right.
everything.
Right. It's excuse after excuse after excuse and like nothing moving in the right direction or just being like we're not doing anything wrong. Like they don't think they're doing anything wrong. Like you say something and you get like eyes rolled at you and you're like, "Well, well what is that?"
Okay,
You
okay,
know?
but like we have a game coming up against ULM. It says 7 p.m. How do I know if it's 7 or 6:45?
Is there a
Or if
women's
Block
game
out your
before it?
entire day. Block out your entire day, and just go sit outside. Sit right outside of the at the box, and just be like posed and like ready to go, and be like, all right, as soon as that door opens, I got to go inside.
I guess I could go to the women's schedule, scroll all the way down to that day, see if they have a game at home. And if they do, I know that it's 40 minutes or 45 minutes after that ends,
But
which I
like,
still don't know when it ends.
why? What was about those 15 minutes? What about those 15 minutes?
Just
We're like, well,
just
obviously
hold the game.
we've got to start right now.
I don't know. Just hold the game. Just hold it.
I think we should actually just start play during the women's game. Like when the fourth period of the women's game starts, I think the men should just start come out there and like start doing the announcements and everything, and just get them right there together.
That's crazy. I'm surprised that happened, but I'm also not surprised a little bit too.
It's like
Yeah, I'm not.
Georgia State just continues to Georgia State. They out Georgia State themselves over and over again.
Mhm.
So
All right. Well, it sounds like the 2 games sucked, or 4 games technically I missed. So
yeah, we got Marshall again. Because of
tomorrow.
course, what's better than playing a team you played 4 days ago? 3 days later. So yeah, Marshall again, and then at Appy.
That's normal though, right? To pair up the like home and away.
I don't think it's. Is
They,
it?
they
I mean,
do
it's
it.
Sunbelt
It
normal. I think.
happens. It happens, but I don't think it should.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense for teams to play that close to one another. And it's Marshall. It's not like it's Trash Down South or something. But
We did
which
used to go TDS, remember?
yeah,
It'd be like there, then here 3 days later. Like who I can't say that
yeah,
word. Who did that? That's
yeah.
crazy.
We'll see what happens. We'll talk about. Well, actually, I guess you guys. We'll talk about that one. I'll be MIA when you guys. I'll be heading back.
Somewhere in the Caribbean, right?
Somewhere on a boat. Hopefully, I'm on a boat, hightailing it back to the coastline.
Just remember, if you fall overboard, yell
It's over.
really loud.
I get like that. I have no problems getting on a cruise ship, but I still like just have visions of like what happens if I just fall over, and I'm like
Don't.
I saw a
just
TikTok of this like 17 or 18-year-old guy trying to impress a girl, jumped out onto
I
like one
saw
of those boats that are, the lifeboats or whatever,
and
and then like jumped back and I was like, "You
missed.
dumb mother."
oh
No.
I thought you were gonna say that he actually just fell
Missed.
He
off
didn't
of it.
slip. He didn't slip. He jumped back, but I'm like, dude, that was like nothing about that was cool. Like you
I wonder when that. So this is horrible, but maybe for a last call conversation. But like, so when that happens, it
What do you
takes like
get?
it takes about a day and a half for that boat to be able to turn around and get back to where it was. but they do it because they have to. You got to make every effort. But you think the captain's like, oh, this guy's already dead. Why are we even doing this?
Right.
It's like I'm gonna miss the Georgia State game. The women's just ended.
I only had 45 minutes.
I mean, they did say so even on the tiny catamaran I was on. If you fall overboard, they say just find someone to throw the life preserver over because that's the best thing they can find to find you. Like, it might not even be for you to grab. It's just so they can see it and go, okay.
Oh yeah,
the current's taking him this way. He's behind this thing.
I get like intrusive thoughts about that just happening, and I'm like, just stop it, because I've been on multiple cruises and it's never even come close to that happening. But still, just those intrusive thoughts get in there, and I'm like, oh, that just messes me up.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oof. So that's why I said I'll hopefully be on a boat on my way home when you guys record.
I mean, that insane 17-year-old, he better got something good out of that stunt.
I bet she was like, this guy's that's red flags all over the place.
Let's go back to the cabin right now. What else we got?
All blue, all NIL, Ryan.
All blue, all nil. Woo!
All blue, all nil.
Well, that means like we're not raising any money if you call it nil. But all blue NIL got, I guess, another significant contribution. This time from Hall of Fame Panther legend Will Lutz.
Very nice. I like it.
That was really nice of you. That was I'm David. I'm impressed.
Of Denver Broncos fame, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the only thing he's been. Oh, and Georgia State.
Only thing he's ever done. Only thing he's done that stood out at all has been kicker for a crappy coach at.
But you know what feels good about all of that at the end is that Saints fans complain about them getting rid of him. They miss him.
Well, they should. They should miss him.
We're lucky. I mean,
because he wasn't even like, I guess he got injured a couple of times.
He did.
And so
he did.
So he was he missed a few games and everything. And I know that's a very odd position where they move from you even when you're not doing too badly because they just want that consistency. Right. If they can't count on you being there health wise, but still, yeah, that was anytime that a Saints fan's upset, I'm happy about it. So
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm actually really happy Will donated to our NIL. I mean, that's something we talked about before on the pod, saying like, man, it would be great if former players that made it to the NFL gave back.
And we need more players in the NFL. We need more players in the NFL and like actually getting like
millions,
legit, like contracts. Because like these guys come in there. Cause we have a few guys in other guys in the NFL, but like they. I don't want to call them bottom roster spots, but they're not in these high profile positions where they're getting multi-million-dollar contracts per year. So as much as we see these guys as being these rich athletes playing in the NFL and everything, they're making several $100,000 a year, but then we're expecting them to give us millions because they're an NFL athlete or they're an NBA athlete or whatever. Like, it'd be great if RJ was able to contribute some money, but like, he did his NBA thing. It didn't work out too good. And, he got a huge signing bonus and a good first year contract. I don't know everything about what he did overseas. I know there's a lot of money to be made, but that guy needs to take care of himself first. It's the extra that he has that we want for NIL. And I don't know. I don't have the expectations for the guys we have in the pro sports yet. Lutz is the only one right now where I'm like, yeah, I think it makes sense for him to make a contribution. They don't say what it is. They just said significant.
Maybe Chandon Sullivan. He's doing well.
He goes up to a lot of games.
Yeah, he does. Is he still playing? Because he was with the Vikings last time. Is he actually
I don't know
in the league?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think what Glover is with
Green Bay. Was it Green Bay?
It's one of those NFC North teams.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. He went in because someone got injured and then did pretty well, if I recall.
I think his name, Travis Glover, sounds like a cool name. That sounds like a TV or a movie name. Travis Glover.
Stars in, I don't know. Overthrowing Georgia State athletics.
All right. That's all I got. Well, back in the NIL. So we're sitting at about $500,000 in the NIL, and the goal is $1 million for the year. We got 11 months.
Was it 250 for a championship? So we have 2 in there.
350 for a championship.
Okay, we're 1 point something in.
So right now we're the third place team on the outside looking in, or the second place team in the division outside looking in.
So how are we like comparatively to the rest of the belt in NAL?
I do not know that information, but I think that
I don't know if we could know that because it's all based on reporting, and I don't think there's reporting requirements for NIL.
But
we
everybody
made
wants
$1 billion.
to say what they have. I would say just my feel is we're not worse. We're not in last place.
9 more. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine something like your Monroe or something like that would probably be down there, but I don't know. It really, I think when it comes to NIL, it says more about who you have running your NIL program than it does about your university.
Sure.
And your fan base. Because like you got a place like Southern Miss, which just has a storied program, and you would think they'd be able to raise money on that, which is what Trash Down South did. They raised like what was it, $100-something in the first day. Appy State's been doing well because they have a rabid fan base over there. But man, not a good time to be trying to raise money in the Appalachian Mountains. Everybody out there without homes and everything.
Better need, better cause out there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If you're donating money, you're not putting it in for some teenage athlete to drive around in a nice new car. You're trying to take care of your neighbor or yourself, for that matter.
Do any of the G5 players get like fancy cars like the SEC players do? Lambos and stuff. They don't get Lambos, but
they get enough money. No.
Well, I think
no.
I think to Tim's point, I think a lot of times those cars you see them in aren't cars they're paying money for. It's dealerships or brokers or whatever that get them cars.
Hey, drive this.
Yeah. Drive this and tell everybody you got it from Glover Nissan. I guess you wouldn't get a Lambo from Nissan. That's probably not how that works.
Yeah.
No.
Certified used. Certified. What do you think? What is the nicest car that's ever ended up on like just a random dealership's used car lot? Like I've seen I've been by a Kia dealership and they have a Tesla Model Y or something like that, which is kind of cool. Like I don't really see that over there. But I wonder if I could ever get a
Maserati.
Or something like that. Just at a weird dealer's used lot.
Yeah.
I've always thought used lots were weird anyways, because you have half your dealership is if you don't buy a Lexus, are you even driving a real car? And then they're like, oh yeah, well, I kind of like this. Oh, well, in our used lot, we have this non-Lexus. It's a fantastic car. We'd love to sell you. It's great.
It is kind of weird when you go to those lots since they have the used cars.
Yeah. If you can't drive a Lexus, a Maxima is your best bet.
unless you
like a Camry, because we have one of those, or we could go with a Civic.
Don't leave the lot. Stay here, please.
Just give us money.
We need your money. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of needing money, I think, Tim, it's an excellent time for you to talk about our Patreon page and get us into Last Call.
I just very quickly before that, I did find. I know you guys saw me probably looking at other stuff. Yes. I did find some valuations of NILs in the Sun Belt. We are at. It says, I mean, there's a star, right? So they have no idea. The estimate, it's an estimate. $781,000 is the collective funding that they have.
That's life to date.
What's that?
That life to date, 700-something thousand.
It's not clear. We're definitely not in the upper level though. We're probably mid though. Coastal Carolina at 367 on here, so that's TDS more than us at 844.
Ooh,
F those guys.
South Bammy 479, Texas State 600, Troy State 386. We got ODU tops with 2.3 mil.
Holy shit!
Well, that's their royalty. They have the tax dollars that they got to get from all their peasants that live in the district.
So. James Madison's 1.2 mil.
That's solid.
That one is that's who I would have said probably had the highest. was James Madison. If you have money to pay for purple clothes, you've got a lot of disposable income to spend on dumb stuff. So
there's some other columns here. There's like collective funding, total support, and contributions. I'm pretty sure we're talking collective funding is the NIL stuff, and total support and contributions. And there's also another column, ticket sales. I think it's like total donations for the program for that time.
you can't tie NIL to ticket sales, can you? I don't think you can do that.
It's just a table. It's just showing
okay.
cash flow basically around the program.
From what I understand, that for whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, that link from the allblue.allnil.com site, that give butter link is supposed to be accurate to how much money has been raised by the NIL, including any direct contributions that came from outside of that particular site.
They're inputting that like manually, basically.
Yeah. That's my understanding, but that may be completely off base. That understanding did not come from Mike. So
it also relies on them inputting it, which, there's former athletic department people, and we know how our athletic department has functioned in the past.
Is that
I love you guys. But we know how our athletic department has functioned.
You're talking about that though. Communications when Mike was there, and when Mike and when and I cannot believe Allison, when Mike and Allison were both there, it was a noticeable difference in the communications that we receive now.
Like it happened.
Yes.
That's cool. Yes. Do we have a comms director right now?
Ainsley Rice.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I don't know who that is, but that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Before we hit the last call, one other quick note. Women's basketball beat ODU tonight. I don't know what the score was, but broke a 14-game losing streak to them. So hats off to the ladies.
Yeah, nice.
That's awesome. You said 14-game losing streak, and I'm like, I feel like we've not lost the women have not lost 14 in a row. I didn't realize 14 in a row to ODU. Man, well, that dates back to prior to Sunbelt. That's back in the Colonial Athletic days, right?
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm happy about that.
Coach Hills, Ryan, that's the women's basketball coach. He is he's had a pretty decent year. He's snuck out some wins and everything. Hopefully, it just continues to go upward.
Yeah. Didn't we beat someone?
Georgia,
yeah, we beat someone. I don't even know if they're good or not, but we beat them.
I don't think we'd beaten them in like a billion years or something like that.
All right.
It's a long time.
Back when the
Arch only had 2 podiums instead of 3. You can tell it's not engineering school, right?
Definitely not. All right, I'll take us out. Thanks everyone for listening. We're going to take a quick break right now. I need another beer. I just finished it. I'm on to vodka. I really want another beer though. And I'm sure the guys want to restock their bevs. David has his bev ready. Ryan, we're not sure about. He's got to pee. So we're going to head over to Last Call. If you like what we heard or you didn't, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You get live streaming access, discounts on merch, group chat action, breaking news, and adult beverages at tailgates. $5 a month. Become a fan of our show. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.